124. Facebook UTV 124. Instagram UTV 124. Twitch UTV 124. TikTok UTV_124. And Flow TV channel 124. Remember, UTV, TV for you.
I can't
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Friday. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's Friday, August 27th, 2021. Yeah, I always know that you guys could be doing anything, could be watching anything, and you're here with me. So thanks a lot. For those of you as well listening to us, normally on Hits FM, that's our radio station partner. Once again, good morning to you. And as we're moving on into the weekend, I do hope that everybody, has a good time, as good as a time you can have under curfew. For those of you also watching us on the different social media platforms where we stream every day from 11 on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all of it. Thank you very much for joining us here, because I consider you my co-hosts, because you help me when I'm not thinking of everything, and you're giving another dimension, giving the analysis that we need over here. Okay, so thanks a lot. And also for you guys watching us on television on channel 124 on Flow, good morning to you. Now, I know, we continue to have these discussions. We have to do it. So we'll start. There are senators, what's her name, Farah, which, by the way, before we go into anything, I have to say, and I like the Denry segment, right? And over the election period and all the campaigning, there were a lot of songs coming out. And you see for that oneself, man, Pierre Special, if it have a vibe, I in it. And Farah's song, I thought was the best. Remember that one? I don't sing, but how are we going again? We voted Farah, and that's it. Tell Sean take a back seat. It had a vibe. I liked it, but yeah, the lyrics didn't last long. It didn't age well, clearly, because she lost and she's the one in the back seat. But we see her now as a senator and coming with the unenviable task of trying to make yourself sound good, trying to make it seem that you guys have everything together. And by my estimation, the leader of the opposition office is still closed. The leader of the opposition is nowhere to be found. He will, however, try to make some calls to Timothy and, do what he's doing there. But nobody's heard of him. Miku South, Upaway, we haven't seen him in Parliament. But people like Fede and Farah have to now speak on behalf of the United Workers' Party. And they begin the way it ended with elections, with a lie. Let's take a look.
We shall, in addition, decriminalize COVID protocol breaches.
The initial announcement to go that route was made by the Prime Minister only a matter of days after being sworn in. Following the announcement, many St. Lucians seemed to misunderstand what Pierre was proposing and instead took it to mean that laws under the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act did not need to be followed. While the Prime Minister has attempted to clarify what decriminalization will mean, the United Workers' Party, now in opposition, still sees this as a misstep.
Decriminalizing protocol violations and expunging COVID-19 criminal records at this time, at a time when 1,600 active cases are recorded in country, and the COVID-19 related death toll has spiraled. And this is not just happening in St. Lucia, but across the region and the world at large. This is ridiculous. What underlying message is this government conveying to the people of this country regarding its position on the pandemic and how it intends to combat this virus. Was the decision to expunge COVID-19 criminal records a move to primarily exonerate popular SLP operatives?
So is it my go to arrest?
While the senator has her own theories, the government has been abundantly clear on the rationale behind this decision. While in opposition, the St. Lucia Labour Party regularly expressed the view that breaches should not be criminalized and people should not have a stained criminal record for simple breaches. With the knowledge that a bad criminal record could affect the lives of people, especially during the job search, the government says this would be unfair. So, does opposition Senator Farah Polius see the merit in this?
Absolutely, and I see merit in it. And what I question is the timeliness of this initiative. If we really want to arrest or to mitigate against the transmission of COVID-19 at a time when so many persons in this country have contracted the virus, I don't think any government would want to implement such a measure at this point.
Polius admits that perhaps this is a good move, but continues to question the timing.
I don't think that the timing is correct, and later on, when we have already flattened the curve, we can consider something like that.
The government's justification for the timing is also the fact that the criminal court system is currently backed up, and criminalizing COVID-19 breaches only adds to that. Opposition Senator Dominic Fede also chimed in to add that this move leaves the police without a clear way to enforce the protocols. A parliamentary sitting has been scheduled for the coming week where amendments to the COVID-19 Prevention and Control Act are expected to be tabled. So will the opposition refute?
I haven't been able to see the amendments yet, but certainly we will be contributing to the debate. And I'm sure that when you see me on Thursday outside the Parliament, we'll be in a better position to give you a proper comment. But we're just reviewing documents to see what the amendments are trying to accomplish, and once we do so, we'll be in a better position to comment on Thursday.
I think it's a bit sad as well that some people like Farah, not Fede used to this thing already, but Farah coming in now has the task of just coming on TV clearly to say nothing and to say things that, you know, maybe you don't even agree with completely, because while you're saying there is merit to what is going on and to decriminalize what if people are seen without a mask, you see the merit in it, but you're talking about the timeliness. But the timeliness is the exact reason why this administration did that. So with the backlog of cases, so much of what we're seeing, especially with COVID, people are not able to have all their dates and everything, to add more to that, it just doesn't make sense. So Farah Kavila, you don't even believe in what you're saying, but you have to say something because your leader of the opposition abandoned you. So now Farah and Fede, who's used to what he's doing, has to come there and say that, which I believe is a bit sad. But it also struck me that she said something about it's primarily to exonerate popular SLP operatives, that is why that decision was taken. And if you are meaning Christopher Hunt, that was arrested, detained on, I can't say the word, on charges that do not make any sense, then that is not the case. It's not because of anything COVID right there on the books. It's not because of COVID. It was because they said he was trying to get starting a march or whatever, inciting a march without permission. And that too, I was there. He's not the organizer. And that happened. So I don't want to rehash that, but again, Farah, I just wanted to let you know you're just starting, and I predict that there'll be a lot of things that I have to correct you on, because you're just saying things that the United Workers' Party is telling you to say because you're the face now. So you're beginning, and in much the same way that London, and I remember that London started, his first interview was with me, and in that he lied. So Farah Polius, with what I've seen even during the campaigns and how low you would go, the insulting people's character, what you said about Sean, when people said, oh, you got fair bomb, whatever, you were right there with that. There was no kind of boundary. You said that you would not allow that, or you want to have a clean campaign. And in the meantime, while that was happening, I found Sean respecting you. I think he lauded your achievements, being a teacher and all that. I did not see that. Weber, I want to see, but from what I saw, there wasn't that happening. And I want to see, maybe it's too much to ask, because if you can run under this iteration of the United Workers' Party, maybe you already like them, but you know, you're just starting off, and I just don't like to see it. I don't like to see it, that people are saying things that they don't mean, and you have to do what you have to do, I guess. But that is my naivete. You guys will call me and tell me, Trisha, whatever you had to solve. But in all of that, I think it was just to clear the air. And there are other issues too that the United Workers' Party operatives and parliamentarians, they're coming with, and quite frankly, with what's going on there, I guess they can't get a scandal, they cannot get anything, so they're making things up, things that, you know, maybe these tactics, that's all they know, that's all they've known during the campaign, so they're continuing even now. And the latest one is $24 million with Virgin Atlantic, something that Fede and Champagne were talking about, but I'm tired of talking about it, so I'll let you hear it for yourself.
Very unusual though, very. For Virgin, let's deal with Virgin. We are hearing that Virgin is going to be back in the fall. You must have heard that in the winter. And it really happened, in my observation, very quickly as soon as the Labour Party got into office. Some people called in yesterday and they said that the negotiations for the return of Virgin was happening before the elections. Is that a fact?
Oh, way before. We were talking to Virgin for an entire year.
Even if they had not been given the monies back in 2019?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we were having that discussion with Virgin with a view to them coming back. What we said is, they've been flying to St. Lucia for 21 years. And we believe that that's enough time for a flight to establish. If it's not commercially viable, then don't do it. What we were discussing with Virgin was a marketing agreement that we have with all airlines. So with BA, a comparable airline on the same route, from London to St. Lucia, we have said that we have a marketing agreement with them, and we were willing to do something that was on par with what we do for British Airways with Virgin. But what we weren't willing to do was to create an unfair advantage for any of the airlines. So I noted that the new Minister of Tourism did not really take credit for Virgin coming back. He said he engaged Virgin.
Okay.
And if you notice on his Facebook page, he said one of the main takeaways was him engaging Virgin. But what he has to answer is, what is the final deal? Was there any promise? I don't know. But the flight was very much on the cards, and I think he would need to explain to the public, in light of the long-standing negotiations we've had with Virgin, in light of the request for $2.5 million from Virgin while we were in government, whether they went ahead to pay what is called a minimum return guarantee. So that is a question that I put publicly to the new Minister of Tourism. Champagne, this is a time when you still have a lot of flights, a lot of plane, a lot of equipment that is still on the tarmac of various airports. And that is because business travel in the United States, it hasn't really come back. Has slowed down big time.
Yeah.
And so at this time, the summertime, when you would have really seen a lower number of flights, you really have the availability of a lot of equipment on the tarmac. And so my plea would be, please, this is not the time to be paying for flights, because you have an abundance of equipment. Come up with a serious proposal as to how you can sustain a flight. Go to the airlines, and they're open to the conversation, because right now they're just looking for opportunities and looking for routes to be able to put a lot of excess airlift. And this really is one of the things that COVID has done.
Yeah.
It has really just devastated the aviation sector.
So your ministry had not negotiated any financial agreements with Virgin? No.
No.
Okay.
We were looking at a marketing agreement.
So clearly now the ploy of Fede and Champagne is to, ask questions of a minimum, I keep forgetting that, minimum return guarantee for Virgin. And he's saying that he's asking the question, and there's some dealings that they don't understand. And meanwhile he's saying when he was in, they were just doing marketing negotiations. It wasn't anything to do with the money. They were just doing these negotiations. It wasn't anything like that. So they don't understand why, how flights are returning to St. Lucia. So they are saying $24 million was given as the minimum return guarantee for Virgin. And with that being said, there are the other United Workers' Party hacks and made up profiles that will try to peddle that kind of thing on social media. Let's take a look at the next image there, where we can see that, and some other people have put it out there, Minerva Ward and all of them. Paul Ward, y'all give Virgin Atlantic $24 million, but now y'all scraping around to pay civil servants, putting you first 2021. So clearly they're looking for something, trying to make it stick. And Ernest Hilaire, in the same way that they're doing it on social media, he too responded to that on social media, on Facebook. Let's take a look at the next image. It says there, Ernest Hilaire, UWP's obsession with 24 million. A few friends have brought to my attention UWP's circulation of a rumor that government has paid Virgin Airlines US $24 million to return to St. Lucia. Yo Arara, as the popular saying goes. They are suffocating from hearing that Virgin is returning when they are the ones who forced Virgin Airlines out. Now Virgin has announced that they are back. It is killing them. Truth be told, not a cent has been paid to Virgin Airlines to return. We are still finalizing the marketing support which will be provided to Virgin Airlines, and it will be marketing support and certainly not a minimum revenue guarantee. The last government did so much of that. We are not going down that route. They can also quote $24 million because that's what they did for their friends, family, and undeserving foreigners. UWP knows 24 million very well. Trust me, if this government found $24 million in the treasury, we would be using it to finish St. Jude's Hospital for the people of St. Lucia. That was Ernest Hilaire's response. And okay, so there's a tit for tat thing going on social media, because Minerva Ward responds, and this is what she says to what Ernest Hilaire types on Facebook. She says, "This is a government minister. This is the Minister of Tourism. It is the kind of language he uses to address a matter the people are concerned about. What a shame. No class." And that makes me think, I will just segue for a bit there, that makes me think, say Flower Raravui, and I thought, it'll take time or, to accept, but there clearly has been no acceptance. Whoever came up with that phrase, and I think it was that guy, I forget his name now, but that Aurora situation, there's no other word that can put it so aptly. It's such a good word, made up word, but I think it describes that. So I think we'll get into the minimum revenue guarantee, but just the thought of where people are, United Workers' Party supporters are battling, they don't know what they're doing, it hurts, I imagine, and maybe I need to be more sympathetic to their plight, because you had people doing madness and saying madness, and just so we can understand where they are now. When you're coming from this next clip, you can understand why they are the way they are.
That the victory will be won on the 26th day of July 2021. He will emerge. Girard will not win this election because he has not worked for that. But the Honorable Dominic Ferry has done quite a lot. He has done both invisible, and non-visible. You understand? So he must win because he has worked for a second term in office.
Clearly they are, and y'all think I'm joking. Somebody check on Champagne. It's not good. So with all of that being said, $24 million in this minimum return guarantee, and it's so strange too, because at first Fede said, you know, he doesn't know anything about that, but with more probing or whatever that was with Champagne, you know, he's now fallen on the bandwagon of asking questions and making it seem like it happened. So I think the Minister of Tourism, instead of just the post on Facebook and having it there, we need to have this discussion on what actually is happening. What is the future? What did you really see when you're coming in? What does the financial situation look like? I think we want to know these things, actual facts of what exactly is going on when you're a minister and you're coming from what we know to be a lot of mismanagement of funds with the former administration. What are they seeing now and what are they going to do about it? Unesile spoke to me about that and this is what he had to say.
I mean, the rumor that we paid $24 million to Virgin Atlantic is an absurdity. $24 million. I mean, this is about 60 million EC. I can tell you, Tresha, that there was absolutely no money in the Treasury on the 27th of July. The last government, United Workers' Party government, the government of Alan Chasney, virtually spent every cent this government had on trying to win the election. There was no money left. For the last 4 weeks that we have been in government, we've been trying to build up some of the revenue to pay salaries and to pay some of the basic recurrent expenditure of this country. They went for broke and hoping that they would win and that they would be able to recover. They did not win. So I don't know where this $24 million US came from. If we had $24 million US in the Treasury, we would not pay it to Virgin. We would have been spending it on St. Jude Hospital to ensure that the people of St. Lucia get a better healthcare system. I can also say to you that, you know, the United Workers' Party knows $24 million very well. You could recall, you know, the waiver that was given to a particular hotel to that figure. You can recall what was paid to range close to that figure. So there probably is a fixation on 24 million, which is why they are quoting it. But I can also say to you that we've not paid a cent to Virgin Airlines to come to St. Lucia. We are in discussions with them on how we can provide some marketing support consistent with what we believe as a government should be done. We do not believe in minimum revenue guarantees. The last government paid millions upon millions to their friends and their family and other people and all kinds of guarantees. We've not done so and we do not intend to do so. So I think they're just still, you know, saddened by the loss on July 26th. But they're going to be depressed for a very long time.
The minimum, what do you call it, minimum revenue?
Revenue guarantee.
Is this something that, you know, is normal? It's something usual that people do? Was this something that we saw in the last administration?
Well, they have a history of doing it. When Alan Chasney was Minister of Tourism, he paid millions of dollars for American Airlines and other airlines. When Labour Party came into power in 2011, we stopped it. They came back into power in 2016, and we're hearing of all kinds of minimum guarantees that were given. We will not be doing so, but I will be putting all the information together and be presenting it.
But you spoke of the economy and you now being inside. So there's you saying that the country is broke. They left us with nothing. Talk to me about that, because that sounds alarming, disturbing, concerning.
No, I mean, the truth is we are rebuilding now, that, you know, we are, you know, getting the country back on course. The government spent massively to try to win the elections, using public funds, you know, all kinds of projects and stimulus and all kinds of activities to try to win the elections. So we are now rebuilding, we're now building back the resources to be able to meet all our obligations. And we've done a very good job in the last 4 weeks. We will be even better next month and better the month after. So we are putting in a lot of effort. You know, the last 4 weeks have been tremendous and very intense because the last government just went on a rampage. But I can assure you, under the leadership of Philip J. Pierre, we are steadying the ship, and St. Lucia will recover very well.
Now, we thought, I think some people in the country expected something like that. Was it surprising to you coming in and seeing what is there? And a lot of people expect that a lot of messes will have to be fixed by the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Well, I mean, we're not surprised by the fact that they did it. I think maybe the brazenness and the bold-faced way in which they did it is probably what surprised us. There's some things which they did are just totally unacceptable.
Finally, I don't know whether you were there. I think I saw you at the St. Jude site visit.
Yeah.
Talk to me on that. How was that, walking around and seeing that?
I mean, it was depressing, absolutely depressing for me. I'm not a construction expert, but it's just depressing to me. The amount of money that has been spent and the amount more work to be done was just depressing. I can tell as a solution, I felt very depressed for what this last government has done. I mean, it's just sheer unbelievable. The amount of money they claim to have spent and the amount of work still left to be done. But I know as a government we are taking some concrete action because we want to be able to ensure that the project is finished and the people of the South get the best possible facility. So that work will continue and we are taking some concrete action to ensure that it's done.
I can't UTV. I know you got it. If you identify with the most pulsating, the most riveting, the most eye-capturing UTV. To advertise with UTV, dial 484-7588 or 572-7588. For some of the most competitive rates, amazing programming, and bang for your buck. The most popular streaming channel, UTV 124 on Facebook. Get it now. Check us out on Instagram at UTV 124. Email us utvslu@gmail.com. UTV. It's not just for me. It's definitely TV for you. I can't
Welcome to the hotspot, and I'm the host who will be definitely doing the most, your boy Kwan.
And I'm your girl Z. We do know, Kwan, that proper healthcare remains the #1 priority for the government of St. Lucia.
Indeed, it is,
and
Kizzy.
over the past year, Kwan, we did see the move from Victoria Hospital to the OKEU Hospital, which provided much more medical opportunities for our citizens here in St. Lucia, Kwan. And let me tell you, the buzz about St. Jude's, Kwan, finally, as a citizen of the South,
everybody's talking about it.
I feel elated that we are
Kizzy,
finally nearing completion of St. Jude's Hospital, Kwan. And we did, one of our roaming hosts, Joshua, did have the opportunity to go down there to speak to some of the employees on their experience. And let me tell you, it's a privilege to be working on a state-of-the-art hospital. So let's head on down to Joshua to see what he was able to capture with the employees down there.
Hey guys, you know who it is. I'm Joshua Harry here at the construction site of the St. Jude Hospital. We're currently here to see what's happening and all the progress that is being made. And to interview, I have a lovely young lady who's going to be joining me to discuss what's going on at the premises.
Hey guys, my name is Whitney Willie. I've been employed here as a site technician assistant for over a year.
Still at the construction site of the St. Jude Hospital. And next to me is Shem William, who is working on site here to make sure this hospital comes to fruition. So thank you for joining us. What is your experience working here at the construction of the St. Jude Hospital?
I've been employed here for about a year and a half. And over the past year, I realized that over 500 persons have been employed on this project. And young persons, that is, mostly young persons.
Well, the experience working here at St. Jude's Hospital has been one of growth and of hope, because it's been a while that we've been wanting and needing this hospital here, and we definitely now we have something of substance, we have something that has great promise, and something that is finally giving us the hope.
And that is something that's very beautiful that you said, because there are a lot of people who are seeking hope right now, who are facing unemployment. So with the construction of this hospital, do you believe that it has actually catered to some level of unemployment in the community or in St. Lucia?
Yes, it has. It has with the community, with the South. When we began, the majority of our workers here are from the South, and we worked even right through the entire COVID pandemic. We've been at it, we've been employed. Our numbers have not decreased. We've been keeping it steady. So yes, I believe it has helped a lot of persons through even the pandemic right now.
And as you say that there are a lot of young people or a lot of individuals who are here from the South, with this hospital being built, do you think that it will provide some aspect of economic development to the southern hemisphere of St. Lucia?
Yes, of course. I do believe that this would help. It is. I think it is evident right now. You understand? With the pandemic, you look at what's going on, you don't find as many people crying the way that they would. It's not felt the way that it is felt majority of the other places, because again, we're here, we're working at it, and everybody has something to look forward to.
Thank you, Shem Williams, again for joining us on this discussion on the hotspot, and thank you for always speaking of hope, because you mentioned that a lot of times. It's always good to have faith, to have a hope, because you never know what's going to come and happen next. So keep the inspiration. And Shem, before you go, do you have any message that you want to give out to our viewers?
We need to come together a bit more. We need to wait and support, just wait and know that something is coming. It's in the pipelines and it's for the better, so you have to wait, wait and see what happens.
I would really like to advise young people to, keep the faith, keep going, don't give up no matter what.
You're here at Unity and Prosperity for a Resilient Nation, Independence 2021. We still on, the journey continues. So back to you, Kizzy and Kwan in the studio and reporting live from the construction site in the South. Back to you in the studio, ladies.
Thank you so much for that, Joshua. It looks like you had a wonderful time in Viewfort. And don't forget to tune in next week, guys, for another interesting episode of Newsflash.
Let me tell you, Kizzy, St. Jude's looks fantastic. We hear people talking about the Pearl of the Caribbean in the South. I think St. Jude's on its own will be the Pearl of the Caribbean. It looks absolutely incredible.
Indeed,
world-class
Kwan.
facility, and I'm
Indeed,
excited.
it does.
Being a resident of Dennery, it will be my absolute pleasure to head down there when I am feeling ill. So again, kudos to the government of St. Lucia.
I will never, ever, ever, ever get used to Kwan saying he can't wait to get sick to go to a hospital because it's looking so good. But while the campaign was going on, I could see it and feel, just uncomfortable that young people, were being used. And I figure they felt they were being used and maybe they'll just take what they can get. But now when everything is done, and the United Workers Party has lost, and I wonder, that guy, with the hard hat on and he talking and he dancing and he singing, doing that kind of thing. When you look back on yourself, do you feel good about what you've done? And that's not just him, but just young people who are being used, and that's what the United Workers Party did for the entire campaign. They would put on a show every Friday, try to get people to dance, you know, just vaguely you try to make it seem like it's something fun and not give you, I think, the respect that we need. Young people want to know the issues too, Nukamala too. People, you know, need the hospital in the South, and it was nothing to play with or have this PR stunt on. And now when you're looking back a month after elections, you really truly get the magnitude of what that administration did and just how low this Alan Shasta administration would go to try to get some votes, and disrespecting the people of St. Lucia while doing it as well. So for me, when I look at that, it's a lesson that if you don't believe in something, Tresha, don't say it. If you want to just speak your truth, who agree will agree, who don't like it will not like it, but stay true to yourself. This is embarrassing to look at, and I don't know how y'all are, if you're home or doing whatever, but you know, it's just a message for young people to not be used. But that was just part of the Vegling campaign, and that show too didn't last long. It was short-lived. I think they did 2 episodes, maybe 3. I mean, right after Kwan saying he can't wait to get Sikakui Maladi Elekoi Mav. So of course that's short-lived. I think the only thing they have going right now, GVD doesn't have any shows anymore. I think it's just what do you call it, the thing on Sky FM that they're doing there. But we speak now of the sort of Vegling that they wanted to do, and that was young people. But we also got, you know, the Prime Minister's father and the rest of them. If you put Champagne and Josie together, I don't think you can get a full brain anyway. So they're trying, that's their think tank and whatever, they were talking about St. Jude's and making us believe that it's going to open just now. Give them another chance, it's opening just now, just give it a little time. That's what they were telling us, and also using it as an election stunt, trying to get political points. Let's remember, let's walk down memory lane, shall we?
The coronavirus had delayed a lot of things. Correct. And so, and the Honorable Guy Joseph made the announcement on numerous occasions. He had made it here that St. Jude's will be open before the next elections. Yes. Now, I'm not the Honorable Guy Joseph. I am not down at St. Jude's, but I've been there on 2 occasions. A lot of work has been done. And I don't want to speak for the Honorable Guy Joseph. I'm speaking from my own, based on what I saw, my observations. A lot of work has been done. It's a huge building, a beautiful, huge building. But based on the delays, that's Champagne speaking, not the minister, I don't think that St. Jude's will be open before the elections if we have to look at 6 months. That is me speaking, that is not the minister speaking, that is not you, that is just me, based on what I saw. And I'm still not a contractor. I am just, I could be wrong.
Tell you something, I buy what you're saying, Champagne, but also there are different ways to run a business.
Yeah.
You went down to St. Jude's, there are 3 different structures.
Yes.
That's just me again. I have not discussed the matter with anybody. As a layman, I've been there, I haven't been there for 3 weeks with last time, but I get pictures of where they are. Right. Okay? There are ways and means that you can have what you call a soft opening, whereby you can concentrate on a certain area. Okay. Because I think from what I'm being told that St. Jude's has something like 50 patients or something like that. I don't know.
That's the George Adam Stadium.
Yeah, at the George.
Yeah,
okay.
They may be.
That's not a lot of people. Okay. Yes. And there are areas that I'm not saying it can. I'm not saying it will be done. Yes. These are all possibilities. Okay. They are but I buy what you say. Yes. It's a lot of work to be done. A lot. As a result of the delays. But more importantly, the very Canadians who came to assist us. Yeah. 1 second. St. Lucia, just give us 2 minutes, please. We have a little problem with our air conditioner.
Yes, gentleman, I think it's a gentleman.
Hello.
Brother Peter, yeah, you
hello. Come.
Yeah, we're having a little issue with our air conditioning in St. Lucia, and we just called in a technician to see if he could get it rectified.
I just wanted to say, Champagne, yes, you have to be careful what statements you make, because
I was speaking my personal opinion.
Yeah, but when I said that the Prime Minister should call elections at the end of September this year, I gave my reason. I didn't say that they should wait a whole year. I said because of the coronavirus and the way it has kept back the progress of the country in every way possible, that the Prime Minister should use the facilities which the Constitution allows him to take the 90 day, okay, and declare, listen, this is like a state of emergency. We must open St. Jude. The people have suffered sufficient in that place. We have to do certain things. So I am going to call elections. He doesn't have to tell me that, or you, or even his father. He on his own as Prime Minister can say, listen, we have been in need of extra time because of the problems we have had with COVID. So we are going to call the elections, which are constitutionally due, by the way, from what Dr. Anthony's lawyer, which is Claudius Francis, said. So certainly in early July. But then I would add August, September, October. So Michael might be right. I would call it at the end of October. For that reason.
Listen, when you sit down there and look at these clips again, you just see a lot of things. I never really got that part, but Peter Josie said that the patients at St. Jude's, they have suffered sufficiently to now, be moved into St. Jude's. And you hear the talk then of October elections. In your mouth you say, "Tumade sav." So this is what we've seen. And you get the Prime Minister's father who pretends like, not me, I just say my thing, but we know you as the boss, you're not controlling, they want to make you happy, they'll say things. When Michael Shastey says something, trust and believe Shastey, his son, ready and running to go and do it, and probably will tell Guy Joseph and the three of them doing their thing together. So this is where we were at. People telling us that St. Jude's going to happen. But more than that, I found it so disrespectful that the people who have died and are suffering, and the staff, the workers at St. Jude's who have suffered, and you say and you laud them for all their work, they're not thinking of that. It's about political points, as if open the place and have a soft opening, so you cut a ribbon, them already, have the cameras there, make it look good. It's not about the suffering, it's not about the people. It never has been with that former administration. It was only about winning. So with that site visit that we saw earlier this week with the now Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre and other ministers and technocrats within the ministry, yes, we did speak about Sinville being there as well, which, like I said before, he did have a right being there because he is a ministry official. Remember, from where I am in my capacity as a talk show host, knowing that he has to be there, I felt that there needed to be other people, other professionals there. So one minister who was present, I think that says a lot. Somebody who was there, somebody who heard it, come and report to us. Or what you've heard, come and tell us. And when Richard Frederick saw certain things and told us, I think that is really, it's very important that we know what's going on there. And, it's something I think that we already knew, but to hear it from somebody who understands, and from the other technocrats too, what he heard, it's alarming. It's alarming.
Fied Kapak. You see the slabs and you see the columns holding up the slabs, and all they did there, they came on the sides and they put claddings along the sides. No walls, nothing. They just put claddings along the sides to give it the appearance that you have the outside of a state-of-the-art hospital, and all people like Lincoln Pascal were bragging about that. All you have in there, folks, is exactly what you see there, except all the cladding has been placed on the outside, and there are some metal strips on the inside to hold up for the sheetrock to be screwed upon. There are no internal walls, no plumbing, no conduits for water, no conduits for electricity, nothing for air conditioning, nothing at all, but a glorified car park. Let me show you some pictures of what I saw on the inside of that monstrosity. Could you show it? Right. This is all we have here, folks. Just those those strips to screw drywall upon. What you see in the back, this is all it is. And you have cladding blocking the outside. That look a glorified car park with those metal strips. Look now, that hair looks like, hold on that one for me. That one looks like one of the car parks in the Bewalk.
in the Baywalk, yeah.
In the Baywalk Mall. That looked like one of the parking lots in the Baywalk Mall. That is what I saw. That is what we saw there yesterday. That is the hospital that Lincoln Pascal and others are telling you this is a modern hospital that we'll be getting. Where is it? Where is it? Where has the solution $100 million gone to? All we see there are slabs and columns and cladding blocking the exterior. Look at this. There is nothing in there. Nothing. A glorified car park. You know. Glorified car park. Look at this. You hold that one there. Look. You're telling me that is the state-of-the-art hospital that United Park had on their Facebook page that they are going to deliver? That is the state-of-the-art hospital for over $100 million. You know, that is a travesty. It really is. You can take it down now. Nothing of substance. So like I said, folks, I will soon take a break. Like I said, no electricals, no conduits or wires, no water, no plumbing, no air conditioning, nothing, no internal walls, no exterior walls, nothing at all. $100 million. And you know what hurt me? Norman Senville was with us. I asked Norman Senville, what would it take? What would it take to complete what that monstrosity? Folks, you all will not believe this. Norman Senville told me in the presence and hearing of loads of other people that it would take $38 million to finish only the ground floor. It would need $38 million to finish only the ground floor of this monstrosity. Just the ground floor, another $38 million. So we spend $100 million on this car park, and we need another $38 million to finish the ground floor alone. And guess what he went on to inform the group? That Chastney and Company had already awarded that contract for the $38 million just to finish the ground floor. Are you all hearing me? Nous j'ai dépensé $100 million pour car park ça là. Et yo ka di yo pris $28 million, $38 million, not to complete the whole thing, you know, to complete the ground floor. And he went on to tell us that Chastney and them had already awarded that contract. Meanwhile, Renault has gone to Dominica and build a whole 60-bed hospital for $32 million. He built a whole hospital for $32 million, a 60-bed. We spent $100 million on that already. Foundation that was supposed to cost $3 cost $9. And we need $38 million to finish the ground floor. Now, folks, tell me whether, I don't care whether you support Labour or Flabo, but darling, you cannot support that kind of financial recklessness. Isn't that a wastage of our money? Don't you see corruption written all over this? Somebody has to pay for that. Somebody has to pay. Somebody has to go to jail. This has corruption written all over it. And I can assure you, some of that money is hidden somewhere in some foreign bank account. I can also say that Cabinet never invited their own engineers and stuff. Cabinet wanted to talk just to see for themselves. And of course, Cabinet has already, they didn't want to prejudice anybody's mind. But a team has been put together by the Cabinet of Ministers, and that team will be doing some kind of assessment and will be advising Cabinet as to the way forward. What I can tell you is the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers are very, very hasty about getting people out of the stadium and bringing them to St. Jude. Something is going to happen in the quickest possible time. But my view is, folks, rather than waste $138 million on this monstrosity, you went in, you saw the first hospital, you believe that there are some compromises in terms of integrity, spend a $3-4 million, get it done, move on, complete that hospital. We don't have, our only revenue source is taxation. We don't have minerals. We don't have oil. We don't have gold. We don't have any of that sort. Yet, Shasney, Guy Joseph, and others would justify the wastage of $138 million on a glorified car park. So this country has spent about $238 million, and up to now, we don't have a hospital. I don't care if you support Flamo. I don't care if you support Labour. I don't care if you love Chasney. I don't care if you hate Philip J. Pierre. You may love me, like me, dislike me. But if you, as a St. Lucian, condone that kind of travesty, then you are not a patriotic St. Lucian.
Manje Pudi Abwisago. You can call us at 572-7588 and also at 484-7588. When you see what exactly is going on in there, in the same Saintville will say, you know, $38 million will be needed to complete the ground floor. And when you actually see the images there and all of what we saw with the Prime Minister's father, the young people that they pay and all them kind of thing happening, and people are suffering, and $100 million wasted going into that. You have cladding as walls to buy malpop takini to just have that happening, and you'll have the Sahats on Facebook even today looking for scandal, looking for things to talk about. Wow, where's that? So Papa about that. I won't lie to you, it's utterly disgusting to look at and to know that, you know, that's what's happening there. And people, you know, you can see, when people in government, they say millions like it's nothing, eh? Like, you know, just money you get at the corner of the couch, or $100 million already spent, and that's what we have to show for our money. And they say, Muna kite andaila. You tell Malaysia you can ride bike. They're so good, you can ride a bike now, you can go and travel. At Shaidiyo, they're relieved. They can't contest, they can't come and say, oh, I feel I won, even though the margin is small, whatever. I think I won, so I want to contest or whatever. They are relieved, they want to move, they're hoping that nobody come and look for them. We should be angry as a country. We should want justice for what has happened. There are $100 million. People have died because of that. And we need to make sure that some of these spaces never re-emerge in our politics again. It cannot happen again. And people that want to change the narrative, and you know, the people on Facebook looking for all kind of thing, for facilities fees, and where the facilities fees, and Solution National Trust. Pressing the call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Trisha.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Trisha. I'm not being repetitious, sir, but one thing, what a revelation, what a breath of fresh air that you have been. Girlfriend, I really liked your
I haven't been called girlfriend in a while. Thanks for that caller.
Yeah, we St. Lucians most St. Lucians have a short span. A short span. Look at oublié bagay vite. Could you imagine what went on for these 5 years, straight 5 years, and now I will try to do it as quick as possible. Dominic Fede should not be even talking. You remember Dominic Fede as Minister of Broadcasting when that incident occurred with you, how he shoved it off. Look at Miguel and tell Miguel, and Miguel is more of a competent reporter than Dominic Fede. Why am I wasting time on Dominic Fede? Dominic Fede, forget his claim to fame, was working for Booth Stewart. The $24 million that they're trying to push now, that $24 million tax exemption that was given to Sanders at the time, Tresha, was it underneath their watch? And could you imagine the former Prime Minister at one time was an employee of Sanders? Enough said on that. Going to federal police, it's a shame. And sometimes I wonder why some people allowed people to use them. Here is a Prime Minister, somebody that was given the high office of this country, says that he's a product of Canada. Trisha Makadisa pass Munka oublié. He's a product of Canada. Everything that was Lucianized, he destroyed it, you know. And look at that travesty that happened at St. Jude's. You understand? The then government who was in opposition, what they do could not allow the government and brought everybody. And could you imagine what has happened right now, St. Lucians? I need to let you all know that it is refreshing. Here you have a Prime Minister who is humble. And the first order of the day, Trisha, the first order of the day, when he asked to re-embrace the National Trust, and then he had an emancipation address for the first time in 5 years. It brought back memories to me. I was able, even if I cannot see it, but I was able to hear it when you host that program with Shelton Daniel, the late Get Through, and Rick Green. That was in 2014. So St. Lucians, the history is there. The history is there. And Trisha, do not allow them to vegle you. Could you imagine you have a man who was Prime Minister of this country and all he was is a con artist? The order of the day, that is disrespectful to St. Lucians. The order of the day was to be at the opening after you just lost. And you know the list goes on and on. And Trisha, my favorite line in closing, this Dominic Fede, this guy, I will always repeat it. It was an article written by the late George Odlum in 1982 when the England guy who had owned Noah's Arcade was made persona non grata by a former Attorney General at the time, his deceased Leonard Riviere, and Odlum writing in the Crusader in 1982, an uncharitable man, an unmeritable man, not fit to be sent on earth, that is fit Dominic Fede. And Trish, the order of the day, I would like our Prime Minister, I know the hands are tied now, is to revisit the Cuban Eye Care Center. Ici à Kwefche. Moi ni pour parler about the trespass ici by qui preacher moi.
Mais nous n'avons l'autre appel là, KSP.
Oui, just hier moi aller là et qui c'est à Kwefche. C'est 2 jours en jeudi et puis en vendredi pour un temps mon avec mi actuellement nous ne Covid là. Ça c'est à Kwefche et ça c'est un programme en partisan étoile là t'est implémenté in 2002 et Chasnet si c'est tout pour Chasnet ça t'est croisé. Merci un peu Trisha.
Thank you. Merci. Thank you, caller. Always appreciate your contribution. Let's take the other call. I appreciate your patience, caller. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Trisha. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. So my first thing is, to me, I would like Champagne to apologize to the people of St. Lucia when like Cabot went on the land and just bulldozing everything, and he said the people got chicken bones and things. So when we all know from school, it was a site where they had the Americans and stuff, you know. And next thing again too, I would like Alan Chassis father to report to rehab, because my last when we see a let's say program is it's time for that man to rest himself. One of the one my last miss. I tell you?
Yeah.
That man need to check himself into rehab.
Into rehab? Rehab, what is addiction?
Yeah. Rehab. What's it called? Take a vacation. Do something. Take your wife on a honeymoon. Take her to Mars. Something, Trisha. I tell you.
Yeah,
you know? And to be fair about people, you know, accept it. You'll lose big time.
What advice would you give them? How can they accept it? I don't know. What advice you have for them?
Well, if they on the moon, they have to come back down to earth and accept reality, because what they see what pet there. You buy say bato bali you bato bali las buy la how.
Thank you very much, caller. All right. Take care. Have a good weekend. We have another call on hold. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, caller.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yes, I'm not too bad. I realize the UWP is trying to remain relevant.
Yeah.
They called a press conference, well, in the absence, I guess, of the leader. And the two people who were there was the two senators. I'm sure if they have temporary amnesia, but some of the things that I heard was a bit confusing, and they themselves seem to have been confused, because Ms. Prosper was criticizing, and in all her critical issues at the end, she says she understands and she's in agreement, but wrong timing.
Yeah.
But I can't understand what she meant by wrong timing, because at any point in time you do something, you remove, it means that you still have to expunge for everybody that were arrested up to the point in time that did it. So what exactly does she mean by wrong timing? The other thing is that Mr. Fede himself kept on making accusations, and I'm wondering whether he forgot that at one point in time he was the chairman of the command center, and the issues that were there, and how he, as chairman, decided to deal with some of it. I think right now, with all the propaganda I'm seeing on Facebook and through WhatsApp and through all the memes and whatever else, the main point for me is that UWP is trying to remain relevant, and people like you in the media, when you get info, as you like to say, you like to demati them, and I think that's what needs to be done. I don't think anybody needs to get into any argument or row with UWP supporters, but they like to blur out things without being able to back it up. I think now is the time where Labour supporters simply calmly present the facts and let the facts speak for themselves.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I agree with you, caller, on that, because the facts, I think, won an election, and no matter all the money and, you know, they spent no expense on getting different people. When you have Cambridge Analytica and Peter Wickham and giving people money and using state funds to fund a campaign, you know, all of these things, facts won it, I think.
And one of the things, finally, for me, Trisha, is I think the PM now, one of the ways of demating, using your phrase,
it's not mine,
is to get the media houses to toss and Judes and to show what the reality is, and not telling us like the UWP used to do, what is happening, but allowing them to experience it for themselves. Don't bring, as they did, Labour supporters to say, oh, this was terribly done or whatever else, and people stretching their arms in a hallway and malparlaying what was happening. But allowing the media personnel to go down with them to, for themselves, see what is happening there. That is St. Jude's. And secondly, it's time that SLP tells St. Lucians that the 5-year period that we are in there now is not going to be rosy dandy, but it's going to be hard working. So let us all put on our gloves, put on our boots, because there is so much that will unfold in the next few months that will put us in such a predicament that every single St. Lucian needs to understand where we are and what is going to take for us to come out from where we are. Thank you very much for listening.
Of course. Thank you very much, caller. You made some really pertinent points there. I appreciate that, and I do hope that you have a good weekend. I think we have another call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tresha. How are you?
Good afternoon, miss. I'm okay. How are you?
Oh boy, still celebrating. USVI in the house.
Welcome.
Well, didn't get a chance to call, but boy, this St. Lucians can finally breathe. And what I want to,
with what I heard Richard say, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of hard work.
Well, what I meant is that the word on the ground is people are just a bit freer and feel a sense of liberation, that we don't have to deal with Alan Chasney. Right where I am, I even feel it too. I could breathe.
Oh, where you are, you feeling that?
5 years. Yes, listen to the news, breathe, sleep well, because for 5 years it was just one set of corruption after the other. But what I want, the hacks, I mean, they're trying to be relevant, and that's okay. I mean, when you cannot get anything to complain about, you make up things, and you have people in the media who, anyway, what I really want to talk about is the first few weeks after elections. What was Alan Chasney's first order of the day? And Bradley, thousands of land to Teo Akin. The first order. Well, you know what Philip J did? He paid facility fees, not for SLP, for everybody. And those who are complaining in the media, like you have a certain individual, a lady, I know she has 2 children in high school. If she wants, she can return the fees. And we need people like you to neutralize. And what I find we do a lot is we try to make these people relevant. And every lie, and I like what Ernest Hiller did, everything they try to say. Like, for example, they try to manufacture the 42 million bailout for Virgin Atlantic. I mean, in order for you to write about something, Tresha, you have to be an expert. I respect people like you because you're an expert in your field, in your craft. You did journalism. But you have the United Pacs, and you still don't know the faces. You just have to speculate. I'm kind of speculating as to who they are. And they are still in that propaganda mill, day after day, night after night, just, manufacturing propaganda. But I thank people like you who can always change the narrative and just bring the truth to light. And we as true St. Lucians who love our country, we just have to know where we get our source of information from. We just don't have to be sidetracked and just listen to people who do not have agendas. Because all these people, I heard one left for Canada, one is still pontificating. I don't know if she's getting Wi-Fi from the Wellness Center, but we just have to listen. Yeah, I don't know if it's the Wellness Center she's operating from, but we have to listen to trusted sources and experts, who really bring the point across, rather than people who get up every day, like, what can I do? What can I say? I want that lady to really tell us whether or not facility fees, and I'm dealing with facts, whether or not facility fees were paid for every St. Lucians. And at that time, the previous, when Alan Chasley was in government, what did he do in his first order of the day? These are the things I want to talk about, facts. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Have a great one yourself. Thank you very much, caller. And you are absolutely right when you speak about the United Workers' Party dealing with propaganda, and that's what they've known. That's what has worked for them, and they will continue on. And when you say that people have the fake profiles and, you know, they will just do what... It's easy. It's easy to insult people. It's easy to do that. Just make up stories. Nobody has a face, a name. Paul Ward is nobody, and people just say whatever they want on social media. But... like you said, I think when you can talk in your own truth and stand up firm and say something, people will agree, some people will disagree. I appreciate that, and I think the country needs that sort of move where people, you know, just out there saying their truth. And but thank you for the compliment. I think we have another call. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miss Tresha. How are you?
I'm all right, sir. How are you?
I did not too bad. Tresha, I like to deal with history, but before I say deal with the history, I must say whatever you are doing, keep on doing it, and by God's grace, everything will be okay with you.
Thank you for that.
Now,
I appreciate that.
let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
you see, I believe in a lot of history because I'm not one of those give them 9 days and they forget everything. I know a lot of history about St. Lucia, and I can say to you today, I can give you a whole list of talk show hosts from Alva Clark up to now as we're talking. And some of the guests, etc., I can do that for you. But what I'm about to say to you, I'm trying to wonder of the Europeans, you know. I believe a lot of us in St. Lucia do not understand the logical facts of a United Workers' Party. They don't understand them. If they had understand them, all now, so as I'm talking to you, Labour would have been in power even the time Chasley was there. St. Lucians don't understand this kind of type of party. UWP is a conservative party. Right? They're imperialists, they are capitalists. But yet still, they always put them there as if St. Lucians, they tell you they love St. Lucia. But I'm trying to wonder under what basis they love St. Lucia, under what basis they are patriotic St. Lucia. Especially when you find a government is doing so good for you and think that every human being in this country, from before birth, after birth, would benefit out of it. So when you sometimes you destroy this kind of system, what you telling me now? That's what I've said, and I'll say it again. Our people knew about Alan Chasley. Okay? If they knew about it, so why they voted him in? They knew he was in the Ministry of Communication, Tourism. They knew everything he did.
Caller,
they still put him there.
I think people wanted a change at one point, and even then, you know, people will make their decisions in the same way that they did with the last election. I'm sorry to have to cut you off, caller, but I think we've gotten to the time when we need to end. I do hope, though, that you will call on Monday, si Bodivle. But thanks a lot for your contribution. And as thank you so much, caller. But as we continue with the last call who spoke about, you know, when you just get into government, when you just get into office, it says a lot. You are right. And thanks again for reminding me, co-host, that when Alan Chasley came in, his first order of business was to sell land, the DSH deal, just do what he had to do, buy Tewa King, tutte V4. And it's just continued in the same vein for the just sell everything that is St. Lucia. And if it means that when you first come into office, you just follow a trend and, you know, you start off somewhere, within a month he sold the land already in getting office. If the same has to be true for this current administration, and the biggest thing they've done so far is to have a press conference where they did not need to, and that was just some, you know, slight. if it means that, you know, you're seeing things returning back to normal, the Solution National Trust is back on, different appointments that, you know, look promising, there's a hope, I think, within the country, facilities, fees being paid, there are some good things that are happening. And if you're not a hack yourself, you will say that some of the things are heading into the right direction. If that is the case, caller, then I think, for the most part, even if there are mistakes, I expect mistakes to be made, and if they are, you and I will come and hold them to account. That is what has to happen. But for the, you know, just giving everything and the corruption that we've seen in the 5 years, you are absolutely correct that that is what we've seen. And if we have to continue in that vein where we go back to ourselves as a country for love for self and love for country, then I think we are heading in a good direction. But listening to Richard Frederick on St. Jude's, it just continues to irk me that right now you have a leader of the opposition, a former prime minister, who headed that monstrosity that was going on there. Richard calls it a glorified car park, and I'll try to figure out what to call it, but for now it is just, it's a sad state of affairs. And right now that person can go on vacation with the many properties that he owns, and his name is okay. He's a Chasney. He already have the lineage thing going on. He's been prime minister. His CV looking good. He can go on hobnob with private jets with different people like Marie Caviar. I don't know, but he getting it good. Other people can go out and shop with their wife. They can go and have their medical treatments in India and do what they're doing. And now they have time and money. They can go and learn how to ride bike. They can, you know, buy 1 million of it because they have it still. And meanwhile, this is what we are left with. Exceed Deban Sautler will be on Facebook and continue to try to protect people like that. That is where we are. And it cannot be right that people who have done this to our country are allowed to escape. And meanwhile, you have Farah and what's her name, Fede, doing what they have to do on TV and them kind of things. This is where we are, and I want to see justice for that. You all have to go to jail. You all have to go to jail. When I think of my grandmother going in that stadium there, you know, the beds are working, they don't have no bed sheets, you have to come there, have to help clean her, all kind of thing. And I have no problem with that. But when the nurses come into you and tell you, Trisha, they don't have no kettle. One kettle they have for everything, and that's to sterilize, that's to give the hot water. One kettle in the place. So many of the other things, no bandages. You will see that. Guy Joseph, I can say Lester, see that. These people just have nice face. Me a chairs up, up answer. And at first my grandmother says things like, you know, but you can't wear whatever. I really do believe that for the crime, the sin of what we're seeing here, something has to happen. Something has to happen with, you know, the $100 million wasted and another 38 needed for a ground floor. I know it's Friday and I know we're heading into the weekend, but I'm going into it thinking of all that. And for the people who have been unfortunate enough to go through their sickness, see their loved ones in that stadium, I know what that is like. It's difficult to see. And you see in yourself and you are helpless to do anything. And the people that you voted to assist you, it's taking your money for themselves and they have nothing to show for it. We have to find another how much set of millions of dollars to get a hospital done. People are doing it in Dominica for $54 million, and we've already spent over $200 million, and this administration $100 million and nothing. And these things don't go by without, you know, like again, the city where people enabling it. There are certain people within the public service who have been part of this corruption. And all of y'all that have been part of that, we will not forget. And some people are saying, you know, it's a good time now, let's just celebrate and finish. We're not finishing. We're not finishing. People cannot go on vacation. They cannot live life. You have to freeze their assets. Fair bagay. They have to feel what they've done to the country, what they've done to us. I'm sorry for bringing you down on your weekend, but that's just where I am right now when I think of these things. So with everything going on, I want to say thank you for watching all throughout the week and today. I do hope that you have a good weekend, a safe one. Please adhere to the protocols. Maybe you're tired of me saying that, but we need to adhere to it. And if you have anything to do, I mean, go and visit your doctor, see what you're saying about the vaccine, and let's get on that. Let's just deal with this COVID situation. I appreciate you guys always, and I hope to see you on Monday.
NBC Prime has uncovered a treasure trove, a list of individuals alleged to be awarded supervisory and construction contracts within the Ministry of Infrastructure. According to the reports we've obtained, many of these individuals are full-time employees of the said ministry. Ergo, they already receive a government salary. It is unclear whether these allegations are under police investigation. However, documentary information received and confirmed by well-placed sources say that numerous awardees are reportedly family members and close associates of powerful ministers of government. The report includes the names and NIC numbers of these individuals, and we have learned from our sources that they will be paid from the Treasury. Well-placed sources also suggest that the funds are handed to government ministers, after which the supposed contract awardees will be paid a small commission from the total. A 2019 episode of NBC's Can I Help You with Richard Frederick pointed to one such arrangement, where a government employee amassed somewhere in the region of $200,000 in separate payments for supervisory fees on government works. It is important to note once again that the individual in question is a full-time government employee. That employee is known as well to be a close associate of a particular government minister. We understand that calls are being made for police intervention and investigation into those serious allegations of corruptive practices. NBC Prime will be releasing more information on this developing story in a subsequent report. And that's it for this report. I am Miguel Favre.
I can't stay.